Hello and welcome to my 3.19 League Starters for Steam Deck video. In this video, I'll be outlining 3 great builds which will play great on a Steam Deck. So if you either have a Steam Deck or think you're going to get one at some point during 3.19 Kalandra League, then you should watch this video and maybe consider playing one of these builds as your main build, so you have a seamless switch to playing portably on your Steam Deck. Before we get into it, if this content is helpful to you, you should go ahead and subscribe. This is a very new channel trying to get it off the ground. Every single subscribe that I get really helps out and will be greatly appreciated. Now, you might be surprised to see that I haven't recommended any minion builds, and there's a couple of reasons for that. First of all, minions have received some pretty substantial changes in 3.19, and there's not yet really a lot of League Starter builds available to choose from. Furthermore, it's sort of unclear as to what minion builds are going to look like in 3.19. Historically, they've had very few buttons and you've just run around with your army of minions. However, a lot of the ones I'm seeing now, like Summon Raging Spirits, involve many different button presses. Furthermore, with the raised Spectral level nerfs, it's possible that Spectres will not be nearly as easy to keep alive as they have been in Leagues past. As a result, you might end up having to resummon Spectres, which, oh my god, I already hate doing that on a PC with keyboard and mouse. I can't imagine trying to do that on the Steam Deck or with a controller. It would be an absolute nightmare. So for now, I've decided to stay away from recommending minion build League Starters. Hopefully in future leagues, once minions get sorted out with the new gearing and itemization, and all this stuff is figured out, we'll have multiple minion builds to recommend in future leagues. But for now, I think if you pick one of these 3, you're going to have a fantastic time on the Steam Deck. The first build I have for you is Pox's Righteous Fire Inquisitor build. Now, I actually know quite a bit about playing a Righteous Fire Inquisitor build on the Steam Deck, because in 3.18, that is exactly what I did. Now, I didn't actually use Pox's Righteous Fire Inquisitor build. I used 10K's because it had fewer buttons. However, 10K's has not been updated for 3.19, and from taking a cursory glance at Pox's guide, it looks just as good. Righteous Fire is a fantastic build for controller or Steam Deck play because you hit one button for Righteous Fire at the start of the map and then nothing else for the rest of the map. You just use your movement skills and maybe a curse or something. Also, the performance requirements are practically non-existent. You will not get better frame rates, better battery life than you would with a Righteous Fire build. For those reasons, if you're looking to get the best possible experience that you could on the Steam Deck, the go-to build right now absolutely would be this one. Righteous Fire absolutely will not let you down. Next up is Telvanni's Spectral Helix Raider. So Spectral Helix is an incredibly powerful skill that plays great on a controller. You just hit Spectral Helix and the projectiles will swirl out around from your character, killing everything nearby. So for the most part, you're just using your movement skill, you're hitting Spectral Helix, and everything around you is dying. Spectral Helix has been around as either a meta or borderline meta skill for a couple leagues now, and wasn't hit by any nerfs, so probably be a very solid League Starter this league, just like it has been for the last several leagues. And finally, my third League Starter is Palsteron's Poisonous Concoction. Poisonous Concoction is a great skill, at least for map clear. The single target boss damage does suffer quite a bit, as well as the top end for very invested builds. You can't push this build quite as far as you can for others. However, as far as a League Starter, the power you get in terms of map clear speed is phenomenal. This build only has 3 main buttons. You have your Shield Charge movement skill, you have Poisonous Concoction itself, and then you have your Plague Bearer, which you have to alternate between. That's pretty much it though, which means it is fantastic for controller play, and the performance impact of this skill is relatively minimal, so it should be fantastic on the Steam Deck. With a lot more Steam Decks shipping out these days, I'm excited to see lots of Path of Exile players finally get their hands on them and see how fun it really is to play Path of Exile anywhere and anytime you want. Hopefully you guys have a great time with these starter builds playing on the Steam Deck. And if this video was helpful, you should go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I intend to make a lot more Path of Exile content over the coming weeks, specifically focused on Steam Deck and controller play, but also some tips for the new league mechanic and whatnot, and maybe even some good tips for how you can make a lot of currency if I find anything really good. So you should go ahead and subscribe if that sounds interesting to you. Not only that, but your comments have been phenomenally helpful in helping me figure out what sort of videos you guys want to see. So if you guys have any comments, ideas, or things you'd like to see in future videos, go ahead and leave a comment. And of course, hitting that like button always helps out and I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.